Hello, welcome back to the podcast. This is your host, Aaron LeBauer, and today my special guest is Michelle Bauer from Doylestown, Pennsylvania. She is a fitness professional and badass business CEO. She's the owner of Next Level Fitness, and I think it's Next Level Cycling Studio. She has a couple different locations. And I met Michelle about a month and a half ago when I was out working with my coach, Bedros, at his 7-figure mastermind. And Michelle and I connected really well. She's doing a lot of amazing things. And I want to come and share her story and some of her success and how she's built her business with you guys. So Michelle, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you.
Oh, thank you for having me. This is awesome.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about, what you're doing right now. Like, tell us about your businesses. Just, I kind of know, but just like, tell us, what are your businesses? How many, you got a couple locations, and I think you recently acquired someone else. So just give us like the 3 or 4 minute background on like where you are with your business and what you're doing right now and what's.
Sure. So I do have 3 locations right now. It's been actually just exactly a year. I acquired the 3rd location. My first location opened almost 7 years ago.
Wow.
We're 7 years strong there. Yeah, it's going great. My second location opened November was a year. So we're about 15 months into that location. Again, doing very well. They're about 8 miles apart, 9 miles apart. And then the 3rd location that I acquired is a cycling studio. So a little different than my other 2 locations. We're a little more boot camp style group fitness with a 6-week weight loss program. So it's a little different business model, but it's a nice complement to what we already do. And it really helps us just kind of dominate the area.
That's awesome. And
yeah.
like, how big? So Doylestown is kind of a suburb of Philly, but kind of not. Like, how big is it? How many people live there? Can you give us a view of where you are?
When I say suburbs, we're not out in the country. Bucks County is a pretty affluent area. A lot of neighborhoods. I'm really bad on numbers of how many live in the area. I don't do my research as well as I should with that. But size wise, we have over 1,000 members with all 3 locations, and we're not even starting to touch what's out there. So,
Wow.
Yeah, we have the capability of hitting thousands more in our area.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So how'd you get started in fitness? Like, can you give us a little bit overview of your journey from, I don't know, did it start in high school, college? Were you an athlete, and how'd you get where did this start?
No, I was not an athlete. I was I played soccer here, ran track there, but no, not an athlete, I would say. But I had my kids very young. I have 4 children. I started at 21 with my kids. I was done having kids at 27. Always looking to stay fit, always looking to, at that time, be skinny. So I got into fitness, and one day before I had my 4th child, my instructor, my coach asked me if I would consider teaching. And I said, are you crazy? Because I was always the uncoordinated person. Like, how can I teach fitness, right? And she's like, you can do it. I know you can. She had faith in me. I went for it. She mentored me. And I've been basically teaching for 23 years now.
Wow.
Moving from gym to gym. I spent long times at gym. As they closed, I moved on to another gym. You know how gyms go, running group fitness and stuff. And I think it was about 4 or 5 years, people kept saying, why don't you open your own? Why don't you open your own? And I didn't have the confidence to open my own thing, until one year I just decided I'm going to go for it.
Yeah.
Opened 7 years ago, and it has just taken off since then. It started as my passion. I didn't get into it as a business to make money. I was fortunate enough that my husband, can pay the bills, so I didn't have to work. I know that sounds kind of spoiled in a way, but I got to go into it with passion and not driven to make money. And I think my passion is what helped it grow into what it is now, a money-making business,
You just eventually started your own. Like, why? Like, what wasn't working for you teaching fitness that you decided you had to start, for someone else, you had to start your own business? Like, what was the motivating factor?
In fitness, I was doing things, and I think this is probably cliche and everybody says this, but I was doing things that was not fitting in the normal box of what corporations were allowing us to do.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be outside. I wanted to be running. I wanted to have tires over our head and flipping tires and doing all that. And honestly, 9-10 years ago, that did not fit in the box.
Yeah.
So I wasn't fitting in other people's boxes, but I had this vision of doing fitness a little different than the normal corporate box, basically.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So no, you're not doing machines. You're the universal whatever machines, and you're not doing
Right.
the traditional step aerobics and things that they send out the DVDs for, and you just follow the DVD plan, and you're just trying to do.
Funny that you say step aerobics. That's where I started. So that's
Uh-huh.
kind of cool. I started as a step instructor. I still teach step to this day. So I still
Mm-hmm.
have that group fitness part. But there's an element to fitness that I really felt strong in, that you could connect people in a class setting, and we could have fun with fitness.
Mm-hmm.
And that's an element that other people saw as, like, at that time, I was told it was fluffy.
Yeah.
And it wasn't functional. But to me, functional fitness is how we live, right? Like how we do everyday things can be combined in fitness, and you can actually have fun doing it. So
Right. No. So what year was this?
the year that I opened my gym was
Yeah.
2012. My first
2012.
gym.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gosh.
And I was 44 years old at that
Uh-huh.
time. So yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. That's amazing. So what was the hardest thing about getting started? I mean, it's like, so unlike in PT, I feel like, well, maybe it's similar. So are most personal trainers and fitness professionals usually teach somewhere else or works for someone, but I feel like there's a little bit more of an easy path or a visible path to open your own studio or taking on your own clients. So am I on base there? And
Yeah, I would say I had confidence because of my following. We opened our doors with 135 members that
Mhm.
I didn't even think twice. I knew they were coming with me. So that was a confidence I had, a good following. And really, I don't know how and why I wasn't scared, but I knew it would grow. And I
Yeah,
wasn't worried about it.
that's
Wasn't worried
awesome.
about it. Yeah.
What was the most challenging piece of getting started?
Um, Other than the money of opening a business, that's always the challenge. Well, first of all, I didn't go to college.
Hmm.
So I didn't have a business background. So, I mean, I was winging it.
Yeah,
That was probably the biggest challenge is winging it, hoping my intuition and, my judgment would carry me through.
yeah, that's awesome. And then, how many members do you have now? So you started with 135. Did it grow? Is that all you need? How did?
No, we have over 600 members in that original location, and then another 200 to 250 in the other two locations.
Uh-huh.
So we're well over 1,000 members now.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
What's the number of members that you need to break even? Do you know that?
Do you want to go individual location or overall? Because they all have their own struggles, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Each
So let's start
location.
with it. Let's just start with the original location. So in the original location, you started with 135, and I assume over time, things have changed. Maybe expenses have changed, or maybe new locations. But just to get an idea, how many people is it that you need, to pay the bills, and how many people is it that it's nice, and then you've got 600. To me, I don't even know what 600 members means, and part of it's so I want to kind of give a picture of what's happening in your business. I know okay, you said locations or everybody. So can you give us
Right.
this idea of how many people meet the expenses? How many people do you need to can you return a profit? What are the levels?
There are different levels because, like you said, as you grow, my payroll grows,
Right.
so we have more people, we need more classes, we need more coaches on the floor, we need,
Mm-hmm.
and we're all coach led. So I would say we were breaking even around 300 members,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
350 members, give or take. Expenses go up. So 300 members was breaking even, but then as we got to 4, expenses go up.
Right.
So
So you
It's
go
a scale.
300 members and then you start adding 83 more and you're like, shoot, I need two more coaches, and now break even's 350, goes up
Right, right, right.
325 or 3. Okay, cool. And now you got 600, which is awesome. So did you ever think when you started that you were gonna, you know, triple the number of members? And was that the goal? Did you know then that, like, okay, I'm
No,
gonna go 600? Or
no, I told you I was winging it.
yeah, yeah,
I was winging it to do what I love to do.
uh-huh,
There got to a point, and this will circle back to why I'm with Bedros, but
yeah,
I got to a point where, wow, this is really growing. It's growing organically. I wasn't doing a whole lot of marketing because I don't know marketing. I was doing the little bit that I did know, but I thought, wow, this is turning into a real business here, and I don't know business. I
mm-hmm.
better get a coach. I better learn how to run my business and how to. I don't want it to catch up to me and fail. I
Yeah,
want to be able to always stay ahead of everything. So I had been following Bedros since 2009. I finally took that leap to go out to the Fitness Business Summit.
mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, this is exactly what I need. I need to learn how to market. I need to learn. I had the duty and the obligation now, because I have employees, to learn how to run my business like a
Right.
business person. So
Yeah, that's awesome. And so what was there anything else that influenced your decision to work with Bedros versus, another coach, or
he
maybe
just
not
spoke to
coaching?
me. He just
Yeah.
spoke to me. I mean, like I said, I've been following since 2009. I have been using his marketing, email marketing and everything for a long time. Been watching all his stuff and pitches and sales pitches. And I thought, I'm not falling for it. I'm not falling for it. It's like everybody has that doubt. But I went to Fitness Business Summit, and it just moved me. It spoke to me. He spoke to me. I think sometimes you connect with somebody. He's on stage. I don't even know the man, but I connected with it. And
Hmm.
oh, it's just been tenfold since.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What changes have you noticed in your business and life since starting work with him?
Basically, I feel like I had the culture already there. I feel like I was good with that culture. Um, I ran the business from my head, and I did it all by myself. And
Hmm.
you can't grow if you do that. You need to be able to have people working under you and helping you, and you also need to hire people that are better at certain things than you are.
Hmm.
Which I know I don't know everything. So if someone's good at something, I'm going to hire them and let them help me do that. Um, so I think that is the biggest takeaway, other than the marketing and all of that, is learning how to build a team instead of trying to be I.
Hmm. What's the secret to building a good team, even hiring like a second in command? Like, how do you know when someone's ready or capable of taking on a lot of the responsibilities that you were afraid? I'm sure you were afraid no one else could do as well as you, right?
Yeah, you got to be able to keep up with me, and I am super super lucky with that. I do believe I do have a good intuition with people, so I have a good read with people. Um, and I just feel like I know with inside that this is going to work. I have a great staff. I don't have a big turnover. Most of the people that are with me that aren't newer because of acquiring businesses and opening have been with me 4 years, 5 years.
Hmm.
And my second in command has been a member and a coaching client of mine. And she's just always on fire. I mean, she's always on fire, and she can finish my sentences. She's moving faster than I'm
Yeah.
moving, which is exactly what you need for a second in command.
That's awesome. So one of the things when I've been hiring people that I've struggled with a little bit is, like, I know people say, yeah, hire people that already buy into your culture. They've already been, clients, customers, et cetera. But I've always been afraid of, what if I hire someone and they know me, and then now our working relationship, it doesn't really, like, we don't really mesh. How do you ensure that as people come up through your business or they turn from clients to employees, like, are there some systems you're using or ways that you're hiring people? Like, how do you keep them from becoming like dropping off your other relationship, which is your coach client relationship versus your boss employee relationship? How do you keep those things separate? Or have you had trouble with, people coming in and they're not a good fit as an employee, and now you lose them as a customer? And
I really have not, in 7 years, have had that happen.
mm-hmm.
I think our relationship just gets stronger. I think as people come up and come through that believe in our culture and are already, invested in our culture, it just gets stronger.
Yeah.
Gets stronger as our working relationship grows. So,
are there any like one or two questions you ask them where you know that, oh, this is going to be a good fit, or is it just like, is it all like, I know you could be in this job and do you want to work?
Yeah, I'm pretty trusting, I guess, and it's been fortunate for me. I really, really, really blessed that way.
Yeah. Have you read Shoe Dog by Phil Knight?
I have not.
It's the Nike CEO. He wrote this book, and
Okay. I'll write that
I
down.
picked it up in the airport a couple of weeks ago. Actually, on my way back from Seven Figure Mastermind, almost the internet on the first flight didn't work, and I was just like, I need a book. Because I had finished my other book that I brought with me, picked it up, and one of the things he's like, he's built this, I don't know, $1 billion company, and when he just got started, he was like, you need to come work for me. Do you want a job? Like the whole Nike swoosh logo was just an art student that was in a class, and he was like, you look great stuff. Can you draw us this thing? And he paid her $35 for it. And it's just, he built this whole company on his intuition, and he had one guy defect to the other side. And it was just like, it was incredible. I was like, holy cow, so,
I mean, people come and go. I've had employees leave for other opportunities, not even in the fitness industry, but because they move, or I haven't lost too many employees actually. But yeah, it's pretty much intuition, I have to say. As you grow, that's going to change. Obviously, you need to fill positions a little more instead of just bringing people up. But if I can just immerse people in our culture and they're already involved and they're already totally bought in, I think it's easy from there.
Awesome. Is there anything that you do specifically with your employees to help develop them into better employees, leaders, etc.?
We have team meetings. We have team workouts, team get-togethers outside of the gym even. To be honest with you, I'd like to do it a lot more. I think now with 3 locations, everyone's kind of in their own spot. So I'd like to combine them more. So that's definitely on my agenda, and a mission of mine is to immerse them more. But we talk about books. We have an open book little library in the gym, so people can grab and take as they want, books that I've read or books that they have read that we think are important. So always looking for self-growth, helping pay for certifications and helping them move forward in their business so they can grow, because if we're not growing, we're dying, right? So I want everyone to grow and everyone to pick up their game. So just trying to be a strong leader, show by example, walk the walk, talk the talk.
Are you still coaching classes or doing training, or are you out of that game now?
I am. I should not be. That's probably my hardest thing to give up. My passion was teaching classes, my passion and group fitness. So I still teach, like 10 classes a week. It's my workout. It's my thing. But I am realizing now, like, it's taking me away from time that I need to spend building the business. So, that's.
I get it. Yeah. Why do you want to build your business? Like, why is that important to you to build it versus just keep what you got? And so you can teach your 10 classes a week, you get your workout in, and, like, you help some people. Like, why is it important to do more?
I think there's an inner desire that I can't really explain. It's kind of just who I am. But on top of that, like, we're changing lives and we're helping people. And the more people I can help, I feel like it's my mission now. It is my mission, and it's my obligation to help as many people live a healthier lifestyle. We can go on a whole nother subject of how unhealthy and obesity and this and that and how bad food and all that. But, we're making those positive changes in people, and there's nothing better than that. I feel like, and I'm sure you feel this too, like, there's doctors doing surgery and there's medications and all that to try to make people feel better. I feel like we're actually really making people well. We're helping that way. So
yeah, I absolutely agree. I think, one of the reasons I went from massage therapy to PT, I was like, well, as a physical therapist, I'll be, people will see me and know, oh, I need to go see Aaron because I hurt. And really what's happening is they don't know that. They're still going to see the physician orthopedic surgeon who doesn't know what I do. And I feel like in fitness, I feel like fitness right now is, there's a lot of times where people are I think fitness is closer to the front end of the game, where we can prevent injury, where we can catch people right when they get injured, where we can, I mean, I've seen someone break their toe in a yoga class, and I've seen people get injured because they don't move poorly and they're not listening to themselves. And it's, I'm not saying it's the fitness industry problem, but it's like, that's where this is happening, is in sports. And in, it doesn't happen. You don't get injured sitting on the couch. Things might start hurting because you sat at your desk all day long, but it's the movement or lack of movement that's causing some of the problems. But I feel like fitness industry is right there, where it's like almost like that's where I feel like the big opportunity is to help influence health and wellness. And so that's one of the things I think is so amazing. And so on that end, we discussed before we started recording about how, I hear people say, well, I went to PT and they just want me to ride a bike, or I could do those exercises. I mean, you guys hear some of that stuff where it's like people come to see you versus like they were just going to show me exercises I already know how to do. Are you guys hearing that? And
Aaron, we do hear a little bit, but there's definitely a bigger portion of people that are getting a lot of help from physical therapy, that they're able to come back to us and work out again.
Yeah.
We spoke, as we spoke before this, we have doctors telling people like, don't ever do that again. You're not allowed to squat. You're not allowed to lunge. You're not allowed to do this. And my feeling is like, yes, you are allowed to do that. You just need help functionally to be able to do that properly, so you're not always in pain. So I'm talking to you. I have a chiropractor sports doctor in one of my facilities, and I mean, as soon as someone gets injured, that's the first place we're like, no, don't go to the medical doctor. Go to him. Like, let him work on you. Let him fix you. So and then he also will tell someone, we have PTs that we send to people. That's always our first avenue where we try to go before we go see the other doctor.
Right.
And, the doctor that wants to do surgery or wants to tell you not to do, or you're not allowed.
Yeah. And it's one of those things that we know, like even like physical therapy research shows that when people for back pain, they go to get an MRI first, they end up spending like $3,000 to $4,000 more for the same result as if they came to see like a PT first. And it's like, and I go, okay, I've talked to like a guy on the board at the hospital, and they're like, yeah, we know that, but there's so many things like that stuff doesn't change. And I feel like when you guys have a chiropractor in your facility, like that's a great avenue to keep people healthy and keep them in your facility. Is that how it benefits you guys? Like it keeps people working out with you guys rather than quitting and being told never to squat and work out again, kind of thing?
I would always prefer and always recommend that somebody see either a physical therapist or a sports doctor before looking at any kind of surgery. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
We want to keep people healthy, and we do the best we can, but we certainly don't have your expertise. So there's things that we would never even tackle. We're like, please go see a PT and please get help with this, because we don't have that same education. Obviously, you guys are we have a certification, you have an education. It's just a little different, that way.
Yeah. And, and I'm saying this, and I feel like, people might say, oh, well, Aaron's all down on physicians. Well, it's like in my 20-year career, like I've helped so many people who said, well, no one's ever touched me there. That's exactly where I hurt. I've been to see PTs, chiropractors, massage, injections, medications, and no one's touched me there. And now I feel so much better since you've listened to me and touched me where I hurt. And that's the thing that gets frustrating for me. And it's like why I want to help educate people on other options, but also find out, like from you, it's like, like I can go ask someone here in Greensboro who owns a gym, and they might see what's my motivation? Is it to get patients out of them? But really it's like, if I can ask you, it's like, is this something that really benefits? Like, yeah, absolutely. Okay. Let's great. Like, that's the thing. It's like, we need to share people that there's this path. There's a path that they can follow to figure out what's the most conservative thing that they can do to keep them doing what they want, which is working out, so they can hang out with their family and feel like they got their steam blown off, for the day, probably. Right.
And make no doubt about it, I'm not against doctors either. I think there's a time and a place for everything. And there's, issues. I had knee surgery because my meniscus was torn and I needed it, So but that's not always the case. There's cases where you can rehab stuff like that.
Right.
So yeah, time and place for everything in every profession, I believe.
That's awesome. So do you feel like, well, let me go back and ask, like, so you've got 2 other locations. So is the sports chiropractor, is he in like the bigger location, or is it just like a, convenience?
Yeah.
And okay. Did he
He's in the
approach?
bigger location. He did. It's an interesting thing. He was in a different location, actually closer to my second location. But he came down with stage 4 lymphoma.
Oh, wow.
So he was diagnosed, and it was a very fast growing, and I feel bad that I can't remember the exact name of it right now, but very fast growing, multiplied by the hour kind of. Caught it like just in time, actually. So he was out of work for a long time. And then when he decided to come back to work, and we had a big fundraiser and everything for him, because he was a friend of mine on top of being my chiropractor. So we had a big fundraiser for him, tried to raise money, because obviously he's a chiropractor in his own business. And, there's no one paying him, or he doesn't have unemployment, or doesn't have all that. Right. So we did whatever we can to help. And then when he was ready to get back into business, he didn't want to go back where he had left. He was ready to kind of do his own thing, but he wasn't quite ready to start, and just hesitant. He was just coming out of a bad illness, still not sure of his life coming forward,
Right.
So I had space. I offered him the space. He took it, and he's been with us since, and he's healthy now. He's a year and a half. I think it might even be 2 years now.
Yeah.
Cured. So
that's awesome. Have you
it just
noticed
ended up working out? Yeah.
Yeah. Have you noticed a trend? Like, are you guys actually like retaining more members now that he's in the location versus, like, I don't know, did you ever have a problem with people dropping their memberships because of injuries? And then I guess my second question was, if you added him, did that change those kinds of things?
I'd say it's a nice convenience. It really I haven't seen a change in that. I do think we attract people that are like ourselves, correct? I mean, my business attracts people like me. So my community is so strong and so familiar and so family-like around me, that people will listen to you. So instead of dropping membership, we can say, like, have you tried this? Have you done that? And that makes a huge difference in people not dropping their membership, kind of trusting in us, because we are a big family. We're a close like community. But again, I think you attract people like yourself,
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about opening up your second location. Like, how'd you decide to do that? Did you do it right the first time? Or did it go smoothly as opening the original one? Was there something different about that?
I did open a smaller location. My first one's much too big. I have a lot of square footage that I don't need. And it's funny because we'll have classes and people are like, this place is packed, but we still have a lot of, like, you're looking at your bottom dollar. My rent is higher than I want it to be to make the money I want to make, so I did open a smaller location. As far as fitting it out and getting everything up and running, it was pretty easy after I had the first location. We knew exactly what we needed. It ran pretty smooth. I would say that it didn't take off as fast as I wanted, because obviously nothing's fast enough for me. So it took, a good 6 to 8 months to get up and moving and breaking even. I was expecting that in the first 6 to 8 weeks, which is a little unreasonable, but not in my head. I want that. So,
was there something that you would go back and, was there something you'd go back and change? Like, if you did it again today?
No, I just think, well, yes, I think I would have marketed the area a whole lot better. But there's a lot more competition right around there. There's businesses that have been there and established. So we're kind of the new guy coming in town, and people want to test us out and see how other people like it first, kind of a thing. So, but it's picking up now, and our name is spreading, and people know who we are. So
how long have you had the second location?
November was a year. So what are we, 15 months now?
And you bought the cycling studio about a year ago too. Was that right?
Yeah, I bought that 3 months after I opened my second location.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. What spurred that? Was that like a deal that was too good to be true, or were you like, I'm just going to expand this thing? And
No, it was someone that was looking to get out. So it was kind of the situation. She was either going to close or look for somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, with a lot of talking and probably 2 months of back and forth, I decided I thought it was going to be worth it. And it had its rough road, buying a business, coming in, the new guy is not the easiest thing in the
Yeah.
world. Doing things different than the previous owner is not always goes as smoothly as you want it to go. So it had its challenges, but I'm a year in now and I don't have any regrets.
Mm-hmm. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
That must have been difficult though. You got a new location and you're buying another location kind of right on top of each other. Like, how'd you manage all that? And
That's having a strong team.
yeah,
Having a strong team. I mean, it's not just me, it's a strong team that makes it all work.
yeah.
So
Were you like picking and choosing people like, you're going to go open this, you're going to do that?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, like I need you here for a little bit or yeah. And it's still, we still are changing people around and moving people as we grow because we realize that this location needs a little more of this. This one's good in that area. So but we make it work. We make it
Mm-hmm.
work. It's a juggle sometimes, but it runs smooth. It's a smooth juggle. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Yeah. How do you make it smooth? Like, is it just having the right employees, or are there systems, processes that you've put in place that people know what to expect and know what to
Both.
do? Uh-huh.
Yeah, both. Absolutely both. Yeah.
And what's an
Yeah.
example of the thing of the one system or process that you couldn't do this without?
That I couldn't do what?
Yeah, you couldn't
I'm sorry.
what's the one thing, that's okay. What's the one thing that you couldn't do this without? Like you couldn't have opened a second location or bought another one if you didn't have, you know, blank extra instructions or system on doing.
So we have our next level standards and
Mhm.
everybody, employee handbook, who doesn't have that, but we have our standards and you have to be at our standards to be able to work for us. So
Uh-huh.
we have a little bit of a training process. We don't just hire and you jump on the floor. You're going to shadow and you're going to move up to our next level, basically our next level certification. So once we have consistency through everybody and all our classes and everybody's doing everything the same way with our training, it's easy to know that, okay, I'm not there, but I know they're doing what next level
Mhm.
expects them to do.
Yeah.
So it's basically an expectation. Everyone's got to meet those expectations. And I know that that's what's happening even though I'm not there.
Mhm. Okay.
So
Awesome. So it's having the expectation, having it written down, and people getting trained to know what to do.
training process.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the training process.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's awesome. So I'm gonna go back to why is this so important to work? Why is it so important to work this hard, to fly back up to California again this week and work with Bedros and really grow? Like, what is this, like, why is this so important for you? Like, what keeps you up at night? Like,
I sleep very good at night, so nothing keeps me up at night. But I'm lucky that way.
like, what's the thing that like, you're like, "Ugh," like you're so relentless at making
We're
this work. Like, why is it, what is it?
because I have an inner drive to succeed. It's kind of like that type A personality
Mhm.
OCD that I have, and I think most business owners probably have that, right? But we're helping people, and not only are we helping people change their lives and helping people be healthy, I now have an obligation to every single person that works for me and my family to continue to grow and be successful because you know their life depends on it, their livelihood depends on it now.
Mhm.
So that's an obligation I have that I will never fail
Yeah.
anybody on. I mean, I will work my hardest to not fail for anybody else.
Yeah. Why do you feel like it's your obligation to help people be healthy?
Because it's comes through on a daily basis via email, via text, the thankfulness, then people just constantly um, feeling empowered by what we do for them, getting them off medication, just thanking them for being happy, being healthy,
Mhm.
being happy, being alive.
Yeah.
So making people stronger from the inside out, and I think that's a really cool part.
Why
We
is
don't just work on the body.
right, right. Why is being stronger from the inside out important?
Because if your head's not right and then your body's not right, nothing else is going to be right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
That's
truly
awesome.
believe that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Because I mean, you could easily just go get a job somewhere or not. I mean,
I could.
or do something different, like, but the thing, like for me, it's feeling like, okay, if I'm not there speaking up for people, they're not going to know what their other options are, and it's like, like I can see it, like, and I've had problems, not problems, times in my life where only one option was presented to me and I chose it and it wasn't the best option. And later on I learned, hey, there was 4 other things I could have done. Like hindsight's 2020.
Right.
I mean, and so have you had an experience in your life where like you weren't healthy or you weren't strong and you feel like, okay, now that I figured that out, that's what I have to share with people?
As far as physically, no, I've always been healthy and strong physically. I would say the mental part was where I was slower to catch up.
Mm-hmm.
I was very insecure, a little more of an introvert growing up. I have a physical scar that slowed me down and held me back. And I think on top of, so people think type A personality, OCD, is always go, 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 go. I
Right.
think it actually crippled me a little more on the other side. So it made my shyness worse. It made my insecurity worse because I obsessed over
Mm-hmm.
that I wasn't like everybody else, or I wasn't able to do it because I wasn't good enough, So I had a lot of limiting beliefs in my head. And listen, we're all brought up, with limiting beliefs. Isn't that the way? It's not our parents' fault. I was brought up, my parents are amazing. I was brought up in a great family of 5.
Mm-hmm.
But my personality had me afraid to do things. I was afraid to never be good enough. I was afraid to disappoint. I was afraid to put myself out there because I was worried about rejection. I was worried about judgment. And I think when I finally overcame that, that's where the strength came. So the
Mm-hmm.
physical and the body was always there. The health was always there. I've always been healthy. I wasn't an overweight child. I wasn't I didn't have to use fitness to get myself into physical shape, but it definitely made me realize that the outside isn't who you are,
Right. Right.
and to being judged from the outside, like the inside is what needed a whole lot of work. And as soon as I overcame a lot of those obstacles, and believe me, I'm still growing, and
Mm-hmm.
I still have a coach, and I still read, and I'm still trying to self growth all the time. But that's where the biggest jump in my business.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been growing like crazy since I overcame a lot of that.
Yeah. How'd you overcome that? Was there a pivotal moment or like an experience you had or a thought you're like, oh, now I've got some clarity on this?
I think life experience is just, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I'm slow to the game. I think I'm 51 years old to finally get to this point. Some people are there when they're 20.
Right.
So I'm a little slow at that. But I think I always had, I defined myself all the time. So I was a mother of 4. So when I was a mom for those and staying at home with my kids and jobs and teaching here and there, what def- so I got good. My kids are in school. Like, who am I now? And I think a lot of women go through that in their 40s and, going into their 50s. It's like, all right, now what do I do?
Mm-hmm.
Because being a mom defined me. I was a mom 150%. I wanted to be the best mom possible. And I took it on as a job. Like, that was my job. And
Right.
it's like, okay, well, you don't ever retire, but I feel like I was retired. Like, what do I do with myself now?
Mm-hmm.
So then it's like kind of digging deep of like, who am I? What am I here for? What is my passion? What do I even want to do with myself, kind of a thing. So I basically followed my fitness passion because I was good at that. But it took a while for my head to catch up, and it took
Mm-hmm.
a while for me to undo all those layers. I mean, we're all like an onion, right? So I was
Right.
undoing the layers of like, what is holding me back? What am I afraid of? Why am I afraid to put myself out there? And a lot of that had to do with my coaching with
Yeah.
Bedros, because he's make no doubt about it. He has no problem saying, like, I all roped you in thinking you're going to get all the good fitness stuff. I'm really getting in your head.
Uh-huh.
So it's been huge. It's been
That's
huge.
awesome. That's awesome. So what are you doing now to help share that and share your experience, your growth and knowledge on, with other people? Like, I know, like you mentioned it a little bit in the coaching session that we all did together, you helping other women. Like, what are you doing right now? What's your goal? How are you going to like help other people with this stuff? Not just the fitness piece.
Yeah. And I think, I was at that crossroad, like fitness is going great, but that's not really what it's all about. And
Mm-hmm.
believe me, my gyms are who I am and what I like to do, but I want to help women realize that it doesn't matter how old you are, and it doesn't matter what your past has, that today's a new day and you rewrite your future starting today. So you have the opportunity that anyone else has, no matter what has happened in your past, to write tomorrow and to write your future. So it's never too late. It's never too late. I'm a mother of 4. I have a grandbaby now. I'm a grandmother, and I'm going for it. I'm still going. I'm gonna keep reaching, and age is not gonna stop me, and it's not gonna define me. So I want other women to believe in themselves that way.
That's
So
so
if I can
awesome.
help, yeah, if I can help women come out of their, maybe just come out of their own heads a little bit and realize that the world's open for us to do whatever we want to do. So I plan on running some retreats.
Mm-hmm.
And, to say I'm starting a coaching program, I'm not sure about that yet, because I think that word is used very loosely. But if I can do something to empower women other than just fitness,
Yeah.
um, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going for it.
That's awesome. That's
So
so
again,
great.
I feel like now that's a new obligation that I have to
Mm-hmm.
women, right?
Yeah, that's big.
So
That's big time. So that's really awesome. Is there anything particular you have planned, or is this just in the works right now, or?
it's in the works. I will definitely have a workshop. I don't have a date set for it, and it'll be local.
Mhm.
Um, and I'm going to start local. I will go big with it, though. I
Yeah,
will go big with it. Yeah,
that's awesome. Are you the kind of
I'm
person
ready to
that
go.
once you make a decision to
So
do something, you go all in?
I go 150%. Yeah. My
I,
husband's always trying to slow me down a little bit and pull me back, but
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I think that's why we get along,
Sometimes,
probably.
it's always like that. We grew up like dreams are too big. Like, what are you, crazy? But no, dreams aren't too big.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
There's nothing to stop you except your own head. It's it. It's
yeah.
it. You set your own ceiling. So
That's right. You got it. Yeah, that's been the toughest thing is setting your own ceiling, or for me, even thinking that like there was something beyond the ceiling. Like I couldn't
right,
see through the ceiling at one point, and that's what coaches have helped me do. And it's like, oh, I can see through they just open the little window sometimes, and it's like,
sure,
oh, there it is. That's
sure.
amazing.
And do I have a master plan for 10 years from now? No, I'm going to see where this takes me, and I'm just
Mhm.
going to keep pushing through the whole time. So, everyone says you need a plan and you need to tick it off. My plan is to go as big with it as I can.
And that's really
Yeah, and in the
awesome.
in the meantime, enjoy my family. I mean, my family is my life. That's the most important thing to me.
Hmm.
And I have the flexibility and the freedom now to be able to babysit my grandchild 2 days a week and spend time with him and be there for my kids if they need me, when they need me, and spend time with them. So,
Yeah,
um,
that's awesome. Is
yeah,
there something in
yeah.
particular that you would like recommend to someone else who wants to grow a business, specifically women and moms who've already had kids? It's like, like what would be your number one recommendation for someone else, like who's trying to get into business or just even take their business and grow it to the next level?
I would say next level. I like that, Aaron.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Next level. um, I would say believe in yourself. I think that is the number one starting point, is believe in yourself. So if you have a mission or you have a dream or you feel drawn to something, believe in yourself and go for it 150%.
Mhm.
Yeah, it takes a lot of work. You got to put the work in. There's years where I put 70, 80 hours of work in. But because I loved what I was doing and I believed in what I did, it didn't bother me a bit and it didn't stress me out and I didn't worry about it. So you got to put the work in. Nothing's easy. But just believing in yourself and believing you can do it.
That's awesome. That's really amazing. Thank
Yeah.
you. So Michelle, if someone wants to find you online, check out your businesses, et cetera, find you on Facebook, Instagram, et cetera, is there anywhere, like where should they go? Is it you have a website or point us somewhere?
Yeah, Michelle Bauer on Facebook. Michelle Bauer. I have a business page on there. Next Level Fitness also has a business page. Instagram, Michelle Bauer 6 on Instagram. So LinkedIn, the normal avenues,
All
all
the
under my
normals.
name, all under my name. So
Okay, awesome. And we'll
yeah,
we'll put some links in the show notes there as well. Michelle, thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I really appreciate you sharing your knowledge and experiences and expertise on business with us. I'm just hopefully, I look forward to meeting you again, seeing you again in
yeah,
person someday,
yes,
and
definitely.
continue this conversation with you.
Definitely. Thank you so much for having me, and best of luck for you on your mission and your coaching program and making a difference in your world.
I appreciate that. Thanks so much. And
Yeah.
for the CashPT lunch hour, this is Aaron LeBauer and Michelle Bauer, and we will see, or I will see you guys next time. Thanks so much.